Hey, Shalom, call halal Yabashim Shabashim Kakadash. Double honor salutations to the elect. Man, this government shut down, so people, they so-called reopen the government, so people think they out the woods, but not necessarily. And they releasing certain money, especially with Jake and the food stamps, but it's not the full amount. And things is being regulated and things is being changed. And people, trust in the shadow, pursuant to Isaiah 30:1, woe unto them that go down to Egypt for help. Because, and it says, what? The shadow of Egypt shall be your confusion. Because they got you people in a trick bag. This one chick I was talking to, she like, oh, they did this government shutdown for nothing. No, they ain't do it for nothing. A lot of times Esau, he does do test runs, and he is resetting the system. And a lot of times he do test runs. But a lot of things is going to be regulated. A lot of things is going to be regulated, and you're going to have restrictions, so you're not going to have as much freedom to buy certain things and certain items. And then they're not giving as much as they was given before. And it's all lining up for the MOTB, the mark of the beast. Because it's a wise saying, if you allow them to feed you, you allow them to starve you. And people get comfortable and complacent with being on, snaps, EBT, and all of that shit. So y'all gonna be the first ones in line for the beast system, because you depended and leaned on the government. But it says what he calls all small and great. But people who feel entitled to these things, they're gonna have to be the first to comply if they plan on still receiving their benefits. And then once if food is still high, so even if you receive it and they giving cuts, if you receive $500, that $500 is like $250, because food is damn near double. So you still not getting $500, you getting $250 because of the price of food. Although you see $500 up there. So, that's the whole thing of inflation, that people don't understand. Then if they cut your $500 down to $400 or $300 or $350, you definitely took a hit for the price of food and the inflation, and they still cut you. And you got these dumbass people, especially these women, niggas too, they buy these cars. I was on fucking Instagram, this bitch crying about losing her car. She had an Audi Q7, the Jeep style, and she was complaining about how she took it to Jiffy Lube to get worked on, and they fucked the whole engine up. And that's what's wrong with you people, because you buy, you got luxury with these stamps and, WIC checks and all that shit, and that gives you leverage to, with your income tax and all that. They give you leverage to buy these high-end cars, these Audis, these BMWs, these Infinities. But little do you know that how much it costs to fix it, and when you fix these things, or when you fix these items, these cars, it costs way more than you expect, because German engineering, that's a different type of technology. You can't have anybody work on your fucking BMW or your Audi or like these certain type cars. They don't have the proper tools, but everybody hurting for money, so they want the money. So they be like, yeah, I could fix it. But they don't really know how to fix it. They fucked your whole shit up. You got worse of a problem than you ever had than taking it there. But when you bought the car, you think like, oh, you wasn't thinking about how much is a brake job, how much is an alternator, and how much it costs to labor to fix it, or how much is a foreign dealer the Senate to BMW to work on it and to fix it. You know, you don't take these things in mind. You just say, "Oh, I want the BMW. I want the Audi and the Mercedes, this and that." You know, back in the day, I had a Q45. Something went wrong on that bitch. I went to fix it. They was talking all this money. I'm like, damn. I didn't even have it. They had to make a fake ass part, and thank God it worked, and put it up there. And just so, like, because the steering wheel was tight as hell. They was like, we got to order this part. It was like 2000 and, I don't know, like, at the time, 2008, I had a throwback 94 Q45 Infinity. And that shit costed bread to fix. Like, the steering wheel was tight as hell, just for a small part, you know? And that's what happened with you people. You don't know how to budget, and you know, in the shadow of Egypt shall be your confusion. You drive around in these cars, and I'm not the best with finances and money neither, but people make, you know, your impulsive decision trying to be a part of this world, and you try to keep up with the Joneses. So the middle class is a very deceptive class, because it allowed people to taste of the good life, you know, through credit, through down payment and all this shit. And they able to drive around and look like they doing this and doing that, but really they fucking struggling and poor. And, you know, they go look in their bank account or their savings, they ain't got shit. But on a surface level, they look like millionaires. You know, I call it broke millionaires. So, you know, and that's what's going on. So a lot of repos is happening now, because people is not able to, you know, make these payments. They have to prioritize food. And even if they getting their stamps back, a lot of people shit getting cut. They giving it back, but it's cut. It's not as much, you know. And these TikTok videos and all that. And I believe, you know, a lot of that shit is crisis actors. People acting like, oh, I don't have, you know, bragging about their stamps. I got cut. A lot of that's crisis actors, but it's easy to believe because our people do act like animals. These stereotypes that they perpetrate is like, they're easy to believe because it's like, yo, niggas do act like that. So even if they boosting it up, hyping it up, because the internet, shit you see on the internet, you got to take with a grain of salt. It's a hyped up version of reality. So these things are happening, but it's not probably necessarily to that extent yet. You know? And they use that to justify bringing martial law or cutting this off, cutting that off. Oh, people are abusing their stance, which they are, so we got to give, we only giving 50%, or we only giving half, and this and that. You know, so, hey, man, with that, you know, hey, it's still the Lord's movie. It's prophecy rolling, being fulfilled. One step closer to the MOTB. With that, Shalom, call out. Yahweh Shem, Shalom.